Michael Perry, the king of violence, making his return. A man that, paved the way in the sport and rose up and done incredible things. Then he made an error and went a different way. A big mistake in my opinion, but now he's back. People are underwriting him. He's got a big point to prove. And you know what's at stake, Michael? If you don't perform, you're gone. You can go back to those exhibition bouts and those misfits with the put on the big gloves. We'll part ways. But I'm confident you'll show up and do your thing, and I'm excited to see it.
What starts like a eulogy flips in seconds into boss threatens his poster boy energy, and that's exactly where the circus begins. McGregor hands out compliments with one hand and keeps the eject button ready with the other. Perry gets a pat on the back and, in the same breath, a probationary pink slip. Power move, more like boss bullying with a grin. At the BKFC press conference, McGregor clearly positions himself above Perry. He sets tone, tempo, hierarchy. Less yelling than before, but the message lands: perform or you're out. The stage is his, and he uses it to test loyalty in public. Picture it. The biggest name in the room threatens the face of the promotion on live camera. No subtext, no wink, just ice cold delivery. And that was only the opener. It's about to get weirder and much louder.
Habit for people is to reach. We all do that. Frame, yeah? I want to see frames. People don't frame. It's different. As he said,
Sounds like a technique lesson at first, but the tone quickly slides into improv theater. McGregor lectures on frames like he's patented elbow geometry, while cheering anything that moves in between. He drifts through the Manchester bustle, mic in hand, sentences snapping like pads. Coaching, then catchphrase, then back to coaching. Picture it, amid fan chants, he explains grip reflexes and looks like he's matchmaking 3 fights on the side. Anyone who thought this would stay sober and analytical underestimated the showman.
habit for people is to reach. We all do that. Frame, yeah? I want to see frames. People don't frame. It's different. As he said, this man is an Olympic gold medalist and a former 2-time world champion. And he enjoyed it. He looked like he fucking enjoyed it. Mark Floyd, great fight, gentlemen. I'm for that.
I'll tell you what happened. The first minute, straight away, he was looking for the head holder. So it took me a bit, oh my God, what the fuck? So I was cut straight away, and I had to adjust. But it was difficult.
Only a bare knuckle, baby. Welcome to a legend.
Tactics talk suddenly turns into a Hall of Fame trailer. No warning, no breaks. 1 sentence, 2 superlatives, 0 commas. Conor tosses around legend like confetti, and every spark is meant to light. This is where analyst Conor morphs seamlessly into hype machine Conor. No footnotes, just fire. And yes, how much show fits into 10 seconds? Apparently everything. Think that was the peak? Wrong. He moves the volume to the press conference where the whole thing gets a second life. At the start of the press conference, McGregor looks almost sorted. Voice calmer, gestures measured, gaze controlled, as if someone switched the hype to airplane mode. But the closer the face-offs get, the twitchier the micro movements. Darting eyes, shifting weight, that brief too wide grin, and then the curve flips. After the stare downs, the dam breaks. Pace up, volume up, self-mythologizing in overdrive. The controlled appearance turns into the familiar adrenaline whirlpool that swallows sentences and spits out new ones. Picture it, 5 minutes earlier, almost statesmanlike. 5 minutes later, back on the frequency where every gesture is an exclamation point. It's not just escalation, it's a switch. And now it's stuck on. Next chapter, not just loud, but personal. McGregor turns motivation into raw pressure. Perry isn't just pushed, he's pushed down, publicly. Compliment, parenthesis open, threat, parenthesis close. Feldman sits beside him with that lowered head that says, this wasn't the plan, and there's the snag. As a BKFC co-owner, McGregor brings reach, headlines, fireworks. But the headaches come bundled. Off-script promises here, public declarations there, management by megaphone. Perry, the face of the league, gets put in his place on live camera as if he were interchangeable. That sends a signal every locker room understands. The boss isn't talking backstage, he's rearranging chairs live. Picture it. The show is supposed to make the league bigger, but the tone makes the room smaller, and the crowd sees 2 things at once: star power and a detonator. Next step, from loud to literal, with demands that shove Perry onto the chessboard. Perry isn't just another name on the roster, he's the skeleton and the right hand at once. In the build-up phase, he carried BKFC on his back, the bloody business card that made viewers tune in at all. Without Perry, the stage probably wouldn't have grown big enough for McGregor to even feel like strutting there. That's exactly why this cokehead boss vibe lands so wrong. When the league's biggest engine gets publicly threatened with a boot, it sends the wrong message to fans, to fighters, to anyone thinking about signing. Perry is the guy who sells tickets, feeds memes, and delivers the chaos that turns BKFC into a brand. Cutting him down in front of the press isn't leadership, it's an own goal into an empty net. Picture it, you want to attract more stars, but you put the face of the league on trial, and now it gets concrete. McGregor flips it to belt or nothing, and Perry answers not with a bow, but with his chin.
Would one of us get a shot at the world championship, and he said we got to move the needle.
You gotta fucking
king
fight
of
for that world
Thailand,
title, Mike. You've never been a world champion here, so
king-
you're in here
Yeah,
saying
I
you're
hear
this and
you.
you're that. You're
I
no
hear
world
you.
champion. So without a world title here in this promotion, I only start speaking as I spoke when I secured 2 UFC world titles. You know,
McGregor just makes the rules himself. No play money, only gold, or get off the ride. He corners Perry with belt or nothing, like an executive producer live switching the program. The subtext isn't subtle. Prestige beats paydays, status beats spectacle.
Well, I
this
beat
title
that
for
world
you.
champion twice. I knocked him out twice in a different sport. So I mean, look, I'm gonna beat Jeremy's ass on Saturday. Whatever they
your
call
next
me with,
fight is
I
for a
accept.
world title.
If the big
That will
money
move the
fight ends
needle.
up being fighting Dylan Dennis in MMA, or how about me and Conor at the White House?
Perry refuses to be slotted in. He counts wins, not belts, promises Jeremy trouble, and cheekily tosses the White House meme into the room. That's Perry in pure form. Less legacy plan, more who's next in front of me.
You need to fight an American who can win. Exactly. That's what I thought. I'm the only one here.
The counter lands, a small needle with big effect. Perry flips the table and assigns Conor the homework. Not if, but against whom. The line is clear. McGregor wants the formal path, the storyline that shines. Perry wants options, fights, checks, right now. Both aren't wrong from where they stand. The promotion lives off champions, but Perry is the ratings fire, hence the crackle. Title dreams collide with the cash register. Next up, principles ram into pride, with wording that no longer sounds like a suggestion, but a verdict. Perry is the kind of fighter who doesn't need mood boards. No belt manifestos, no 5-year roadmaps, and just gloves off, chin up, cash register ringing. Some call it mentally unhinged, but it's brutally simple. He wants to fight and get paid as often and as loudly as possible. That's why McGregor's tactic bounces off him. Public belittling, do this, don't do that, or there's the door. Might work on company men. With Perry, it's water on an oil slick. It shimmers for a second, then burns everywhere. If you really want to lead him, give him firewood and let him torch the yard, instead of taking the matches away on camera. And here McGregor misses the frequency. Instead of riding the storm, he tries to conduct it with pointing finger and deadline. It doesn't read like leadership, it reads like a stress test. The main generator of the show is supposed to pass while everyone watches. Picture it, the man who lives on chaos is suddenly supposed to become an XL champion. That cuts against the DNA. The point is simple. Give Perry an opponent and a ramp, and he delivers. Put him at the chalkboard, and you lose what makes him an attraction. Next stop, words turn into verdicts, and the fuse is already short.
Your next fight, if you get through this, has got to be for a world title. You should be climbing for a world title here in this organization. Not trying to piggyback around
To
and
me,
do
my
this
king of
bullshit. No one
violence is
cares.
a world title.
No one cares about
Who
this
cares
other bullshit.
about that bum that I knocked out twice? Obviously nobody.
Listen,
He's nobody.
he's the middleweight world champion, and you're the fucking. You're just. We
Well,
made
then I'll
you.
beat him again. I've already said I
Who
would.
made
They
you
never
can
called
break
me
you.
and asked
Who
me to
made
fight
you
for
can
it.
break you. Who built you can kill you. You're fighting for the world title. If you get through this, that's how straight. Otherwise, you're fucking nothing. And if you don't perform,
Yeah, we'll
you're
see
gone.
how that goes,
If you
just
don't
like you
perform,
fired me,
you can
right?
go and do all these Mickey Mouse fights that no one gives a fuck about. That'll generate nothing, and we won't give a fuck here at Bare Knuckle.
Now we move from announcement to judgment. McGregor draws the line with a marker. No more Mickey Mouse fights. No detours, title track, or exit. Effective immediately. He isn't talking like a co-owner. He's talking like a judge with a gavel, and everyone in the room hears the echo. The interjection from the second row tries to ground things, but Conor smooths it over like a badly stuck fight poster. The rhetoric tips into possessive, I built it, I can dismantle it. Fart in the wind as a cold shock, plus I own this thing and I book the matches. That's no longer promotion, that's a power statement. For Perry, it means every option that doesn't smell like a belt is now publicly devalued. And on top of it, the White House insignia, as if to stamp it with presidential approval. The message is clear, pass the next test and the only steps left lead to gold. Fail and you were a gust of wind. Picture it, the biggest star in the league declares live that he's moving the chess pieces himself. From here on, anything Perry says isn't just an answer, it's a test of whether the board still belongs to him at all. We made you sounds strong, but in this case, it's pure theater. Perry was already the face long before McGregor even set foot through BKFC's door. He carried the league through blood, chaos, and ratings. He was the headline, not the footnote. Claiming you created him is like saying the ring invented the KO. Without Perry, the stage would be smaller, the lights colder, the cameras lazier. And here's where it gets absurd. If you belittle the lighthouse, who guides the ships? Exactly. This guy. This guy. The punchline writes itself. The "we made you" narrative misses reality. Perry made BKFC visible, not the other way around. He's the guy fans tune in for, sponsors listen to, and highlights go viral with. If you overlook that, you're confusing ownership with significance. And because significance isn't negotiable, the statement burns twice as hot. Picture it, you want bigness, but you pull the plug on the biggest magnet live. Next, it's no longer about framing, but about consequences. When words sound like verdicts, everyone looks at the till. McGregor's hardball no longer looks like leadership, it looks like a frontal assault, and with a guy like Perry, that's poison. You don't win a siege by insulting the battering ram. That's not promoter craft, that's stage bullying with a VIP badge. And yes, business has ears. Sponsors, media, fighters, everyone hears when the boss sharpens the axe in public. If Feldman really greenlights this, with Perry as the sacrificial pawn, that's a boycott moment, not a marketing stunt. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Perry fights, McGregor talks. White House, done deal. Big backdrop, thin substance. Talk is cheap, tickets aren't. If you unscrew the wheels off your biggest workhorse on live mic, you save on short-term emotion and pay in long-term reach. That's the wrong memo to every locker room. Today you're declared a brand, tomorrow you're a fart in the wind. Bad look, bad math. Especially when your top star is the one hauling the audience into the hall in the first place. And this is exactly where the show flips from spectacle to self-sabotage. It burns bright, but not where it should. Next stop, one last tonal shift, and a Conor line that frames the whole thing as even more absurd.
You know, I'm not negotiating with the UFC on behalf of myself for this fight, like usual. I'm negotiating with the United States of America on behalf of Ireland for this fight. So it's a peculiar one. But Trump and the administration have been fully supportive and backing, and I cannot wait to put on a show.
And there it is again, the Conor Cosmos at presidential level. No matchmakers, no commissions, straight to state talks, as if the next opponent came not from a ranking, but from the Oval Office. It's the perfect final note of this appearance. Big, bigger, grotesque. And that's exactly why it's so hard to look away. The promo turns into a political romance, the ego into an institution. Picture it. While Perry bleeds for clicks, Conor negotiates in his own reality, and stamps the last, loudest exclamation mark on an already overcranked night. If you enjoyed this madness, drop a like, comment what you think of Title Track or Gust of Wind, and subscribe so you don't miss the next MMA banger. In the next part, we dive right back into the MMA world. And yes, you won't believe who breaks the rules this time.